Hey Sanjeeb, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good to have you all around. I hope that your week is moving along well. Can you just confirm to me that you can hear me well? I think you do, but just a quick check. Yes, okay, thank you, Christine. Awesome. Okay, so as I was saying, good morning, Christine, other Christine. Good morning, everyone. Again, I hope that the week is going okay with all of you. This is our first day of the week together. This is our week number 9. So we are just about 1 month away from the end of our semester. Time is just flying, you know? Time is flying. Week number 9 already. Wow. Yes, it is flying. Summer is flying by. I'll be talking about dates, Christine, next week, but I can tell you this: our final test will be in the second last class of our last week. So it's not August 3rd though. Our final test will be, just to answer you briefly here. So it will be on Thursday, the 20th. It will be our final test, and presentation will be on the 21st of August. So, yeah, so that is week number 13. Okay, tomorrow we will be talking about dates. Tomorrow I'll be also releasing the project, okay? So we'll be talking about that tomorrow in our class tomorrow, okay? But yes, we're gonna have a few deliverables over the next few weeks. We have assignment 3, we have project, and then the project has a few different components on it, but we'll get through it. I'll have the rest of the semester, I think, well planned for us to wrap things up, okay? So, also a quick note. Tomorrow I'll be releasing the grades for assignment 2, okay? So I'm in the process of grading assignment 2. Things are going well overall. However, a few people, let's put it this way, got similar work, you know. This work is very similar to that other work from that other student, you know. So I'm hoping that no one gets my note, but keeping the lookout. I mean, if you have not done that, you have nothing to worry about. But, you know, if you have got tempted to copy someone's work, you will receive an email from me. Some of you may have already received that from me, saying that your code is the same as another student. And I don't like stressing this point, but I want to give a reminder, to provide a reminder, because I did that at the beginning of the semester, and I would like to reinforce it now. So I have seen some assignments which are duplicates, and I'm getting back to the respective students to say that your work is the same as somebody else's work. It doesn't matter if you are the one that gave the assignment or copied the assignment. Okay, so I'm giving 0 to both. And don't want to stress that too much, but I just want to highlight that if you feel the need to copy a file, copying files, exchanging information is okay. Getting on the phone and saying, hey, how did you do that? And then you do something similar, that's okay, as long as you do that yourself. But if you see yourself giving your code to somebody else, and somebody else putting that into their projects, you are taking the risk to being caught. I'm not there trying to catch students. I'm not. I don't like that. But if I'm grading a student, I see, oh, this looks very like that other student there. Let me have a look. And then when I look, I see that they are the same. Again, if you get a message from me, it's because I know they are the same. I know. I have more than 20 years in this field, so I know when a code is the same as the other one. And I don't give a 0 freely. I know that they are the same, and it doesn't matter who copied and who got it from. So anyway, if you have any questions about that, let me know. If you see yourself wanting to copy from somebody else, getting the files, come to me. Maybe you have a problem. Come to me, share that with me. You know, I'm flexible. I'm flexible with dates. I'm flexible with a lot of things. Very flexible. I'm not flexible with cheating, with copying. I'm not flexible. But if you come to me and explain the situation and tell me that you are having difficulties, we can work things out. But don't come afterwards saying that you copied because you were under stress or under something. Don't come afterwards because it's too late already. Come beforehand, before you do that, come to me, let's discuss, okay? I hope that I made my point clear. Let's see here. Someone has a question about assignment number 3. While doing CRUD control, is it okay to do it in my own way, or do I have to follow the videos? Already did it differently. That's fine. If you have your own way of doing it, I'm not 100% sure of what you mean by your own way. If it's working, and if it's performing what needs to be performed, you don't need to be exactly a match of what I'm doing in the videos. I mean, if you are you using MVC? Hopefully yes. Are you using a blank template? Hopefully yes. Now, again, you are going a little bit different from the way I'm showing things. That's fine. Going different, that's fine. As long as you are within certain parameters, as long as you are within what was asked in the assignment, okay? Okay, so the person said that he or she did via Stack Overflow. Again, as long as you are using MVC, but if you are using, let's say, oh, I'm using certain things in a view that you did not use, that's fine. I'm not using Lambda, I'm using something else, that's fine as well. As long as, again, you can go point by point in the assignment, and you can say, I did this, I did this, I did this as asked in the assignment, you should be fine. Okay? Philip, for the CRUD, I'm using the views given by VS. Is that okay? If you mean when you say new, and then you go to view and use that view template, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that is okay. Great. Let's get things started today. So this week, today and tomorrow, we're going to be talking about security. Securing our MVC application. But before we are able to get there, we need to wrap things up with the topic that we left last week, okay? So, I want to start today by reconnecting with the topic from last week. I'm going to open our PowerPoint here. And here's what we have. So, we left off at the point that we were saving a product, okay? So we're exactly at this point here. Let me have a look. I'm gonna open the source code. No, Sanchit, I did not talk about project yet, nor I will be doing it today. Tomorrow I'll be talking about the project. Okay? Okay, so chapter 11, part 8. One thing that I can mention about the project right now, and you can start to self-organize, is that the project is group work. So you should start thinking who are your groups up to 4 students. So start to self-organize. If tomorrow you are left with no group yet, if you have not had interactions with other students, I will be putting those students that did not get a group, I'll be putting you together. Okay? So we left off at this point here. Let me run this. Sanchit, I would like to stick around with this section only, but I'm willing to see. Now the only issue with people from different sections that you're gonna have to do a presentation, so you're gonna have to keep reminding me that, oh, this person is from the other section, so there is an extra work that I'm gonna put on you. The onus is on you to tell me that, oh, this person is from the other section. You have to keep reminding me about that, because there's not an easy way for me to keep track of that. But yeah, I mean, again, explain your case. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, that's possible. Okay, so here's where we are. We were talking about the admin index, and we have been able to perform the editing. Okay, we did the editing. We have been able to save the changes. Let's see if we did the add product. No, we did not. So those are the two things that you're going to be doing next. The first one, we will be doing client-side validation. Let me demonstrate that. If I go to edit here, let's say if I get rid of the name and I click save, see, it's not validating that entry over there. Okay, so we need to add client-side validation to be able to say, hey, name is required. Okay, so first thing, client-side validation. That's the first video that you're going to be reviewing in a second. And the second thing is you're going to create the create new product action. You see, this action is not implemented. You're going to be doing that. Okay, so I'm going to give you 20 minutes to do this. And this will be done by using on Centennial. You go to Centennial, under content, and then files, go to chapter 11, and then under chapter 11 you can download, let's see here, you can download part 10. Okay, so you download this part here. I'm gonna just hide this one for now, and this one for now, and this one for now. So download part 10 and then go through part 11 and 12. Part 11 is about client-side validation. Part 12 is about create a new product. You just have to add an action there. Very short videos. I'm gonna give you the link. Actually, the link is right here on Padlet, and I'm gonna give that also on our message, on our chat. Okay, so go to that link and go through videos 11, enabling client-side validation, and 12, creating a new product. 6 minutes and 2 minutes here, 3 minutes. So go through them in the next 20 minutes. We come back, I'll have a look on that one, and then we'll move forward to close with deleting. So the first half of our class today is about wrapping things up. The second half, we're gonna be talking about security. Okay, so part 11, part 12, based on part 10 here. Get it going, I'll give you 20 minutes. Any questions? Any questions about what we need to do now? Let's go for 20 minutes and then we'll get this done. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. I'll be around. I'll just mute my mic, but I'll be monitoring things in case you need any help. For the second part, not sure what you mean by second part, Jayton. Follow videos 11 and 12. That's it. Download part 10 and then follow the videos for part 11 and part 12. That's it. Part 12 is about creating an action for new products. Okay, so again, review the videos. It will show you exactly what I mean by that. Okay, everyone, let's get back together here. Just to confirm, can you all hear me well? Okay, thank you, Sanchit. Okay, before we get going here, let me just do a quick attendance here. If you hear your name, just say hi to me in the chat, okay? So Andrew, Ashik, and Asmita. Deepika, Dharmik, and Diraj. Deepika, Dharmik, and Diraj. Philippe, Gurnit, and Hansel. Ashik is there. Philippe is there. Hansel and Gurnit. Okay. Harry, Hossein, and Jangjit. Hossein and Jangjit. Jangjit. Okay. Jayton, John, and Mary Christine. Okay, everybody here. Minu, Parwinder, and Prablin. Minu, Parwinder, and Prablin. Prablin is there. Raul, Shakya, and Ritesh. Ritesh. Samira, Sanchit, you're there. And Sanjeeb, you're there as well. Samira too. Alireza, Shivanch, and Siran Sahota. Siran is there. Alireza and Shivanch. Okay. Siranjit, Sarab, Stephen, and Thirika and Christine. Christine is there. Sarab, Stephen, and Siranjit. Siranjit, are you around? Nope. Okay. Okay, great. So I'm hoping that you had a chance to go through part 11, part 12. Those videos, they are important for you, for the project, okay? In the project you're gonna be, well, actually, let me see here, the create, you're gonna be doing that for assignment 3 as well. So assignment 3 will require create also. I have a question, I'm looking at the question here. I was using MVC controller with views using Ant framework template. Is that okay? Only template for the controller. For this controller. I'm not sure what you mean by template for this controller. I don't know what template is. I think that you might be using a new controller, template controller. That's fine, that's fine. I just don't want to see the entire solution as the MVC template, because it brings a lot of extra stuff that the project will not require. If you are using a template for the view, a template for the controller, that's fine. Just answering someone that asked that in privately. Okay, great. So let's have a look at this. So the idea is to create client-side validation. Why client-side validation is important? Why is that? Why not server-side validation? Why client-side? What is the advantage of client-side validation? It's faster. By the way, if you, great, Problem, it's faster. It's faster because we don't have to submit the information to the backend and wait for the server to answer back. Okay, the answer is much faster. Okay, very good points. So we're gonna be doing that by using what? By using jQuery. jQuery is able to hook up, to connect with MVC and some of the tags that MVC produces automatically, that tag helper produces automatically. It's able to hook up to that and validate our application from the client side. Now, I'm gonna mention a few things that you need to take care of to make sure that this works fine. The first thing is you have to go to your model. We are trying to validate the product entering. So we have to flag, we have to annotate what properties are required so that the UI knows what needs to be validated there. Okay? We have a few properties here. We have name is flagged as required. We have the error message that should be displayed in case the name is not entered, in case the description is not entered, in case the price, we put a negative price, because here we are checking the range of price. It has to be from 1 cent up to the maximum value as a double. Sanchit, how does JavaScript jQuery takes the error message from the annotated model? Is this done by .NET Framework? I'm gonna show you that, Sanchit. When I run, I'm gonna tell you exactly where is this coming from. Okay? So here we are just flagging, we are just annotating which properties are required, which properties have a range validation. Based on this information, when the view is creating the form, this information goes together to the client side. I'm going to show you this in a second. Before I do that, so this is one step. You validate, you put the required fields and the range fields in the model. The next one, you have to go back to your libman file. Remember, libman is about storing, is about creating, is about downloading, is about using third-party libraries. Like what? Like CSS libraries. Bootstrap, Font Awesome. Font Awesome brings a bunch of awesome fonts to your application. And then we also have jQuery here. We have the core jQuery. We have jQuery validate. We have jQuery validate unobtrusive. and each one of them, they have a version. If you tried and your version is higher than this one, that's okay, because this code was put together a year ago. So there's a newer version of jQuery after that, which should not make any difference, which should be able to validate the same thing. Prablin has a question. Libman uses and stores third-party references. Libman, what it's really doing, it's storing and downloading. Remember, when we save Libman and you look at our www root folder, because we are saving them inside of the lib folder, look, if I expand lib, I can see Bootstrap, Font Awesome, jQuery, jQuery validates. This is what the Libman library does, JSON does. It downloads the third-party libraries to your local environment, and it keeps track of that, okay? So that's what it does. Does that make sense, Prablin? Okay, so with this done, the folder is created. Well, in my case, my site, well, I don't know, Samira, then there's something a little bit wrong with your setup there. Look if there is any misspellings on yours, because as you save this, everything should be downloaded. If it has not downloaded, what you can do is you can also right-click Libman, and you can say, let me see here where it is. Restore client-side libraries. Give it a try on this. But there's no reason why it did not create that one for you. Unless there's a misspelling somewhere here. Check your spelling, okay? Great, so this is the second step. The third step, once you have the downloaded libraries, you have to make references to them. You have to call them in your code. Well, you just need to make references. You don't have to write one single line of JavaScript at all. You just go to your admin layout, because we have an admin layout that is used by all admin views. Then on that, you can add references to each one of the libraries. jQuery minified version, make reference to the minified versions, okay? So we have the reference to jQuery minified, jQuery validate minified, and jQuery validate unobtrusive minified as well. Probably there are times when I don't understand the use of certain libraries or files. Is it required to retain every single information? No, it's not. Probably I can tell you this. What you need to do here is, okay, those are the libraries that I have to add, and I'm gonna add them. Again, if you miss one detail here and there, that's fine. But as I talk through, make sure that you understand what I'm talking about, because always I focus my talking on the most important aspects. So if there's a point here that you did not understand, tell me, okay? Now, do you need to understand what this unobtrusive jQuery is doing behind the scenes? Not really. Just understand this. These three libraries are required to perform client-side validation. That's what I would like you to retain. Okay? That's it. That's what I'd like to retain. Those three libraries are required, and that's it. Are you gonna need to know every nitty-gritty details about unobtrusive? I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, to be honest, I don't remember what unobtrusive is doing here. I know it's related to validate, but do I understand every single detail that is going on behind the scenes there? Not really, no? Okay, great. So I have added them here. I'm great that you have that sorted out. Don't let things that are bugging you for too long. Bring them forward. Okay? Perfect. So with that done, I'm gonna run the application. I'm gonna go back some sheet to answer your question there. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so let's have a look at the backend. And let's see if we can perform some validation here. Save. See, look, it gives a message. And you can see that this is client side because you don't see a refresh here. Everything is behaving in the client side. So how does jQuery knows what needs to be validated? How does it know that? Well, let me show you this. I'm going to look at the source code. Sanchit, that's what will answer your question. Let's right click the form. Let's go to view page source. Look here. On each field, this is the name. Look at its properties here. It says data validation equals to true, which means that this will be validated. This is a property that can be read by jQuery. And jQuery knows, oh, there is a data validation equals to true here, so I better check this one before it gets submitted. And also, it says data validation required. It gives me the message that jQuery should display in case the validation of this field is triggered. So it has the message and it has a flag that says this field needs to be validated. Then, if I don't fill out this input in this spam, the message will be displayed. To validate the name, it's gonna show the message here. And it does that for each property. Look at the next one, description. It says that data validation equals to true, data validation required, there is the message here, and this is the spam that the message will be displayed on in case it's not valid. The same thing with category, with price as well. Price, we even have the data range here. Look, we have the minimal value, the maximum value. That's it, Sanchit. Does that answer your question? So Sanchit says, so it is a relation between ASP and jQuery. If I use any other JavaScript framework, then it won't work. That's correct. That's correct. This is very much related to the way, I don't know, to be quite honest, I don't know which standard came first. If Microsoft came with the standards and jQuery used that, or jQuery used that and then Microsoft adjust to it. I don't know which one came first, but what I know is that they have a common standard. Maybe other frameworks will have a similar standard. Maybe this is a standard that's across even different frameworks. Who knows? I don't, to be honest with you. Okay? But I can tell you, it's a standard. Okay. So this is about client-side validation. We just did that. If I go back here, if I click add product, if I try to save, you see, it does not save. The last one was just the action behind add products. The action, if we have a look at the source code, if you go to our controller, admin controller, we have the create action here. Look, we have the create action just calls the view, the edit view, and gives to it a new product. Let me ask you a question. When I create a new product, at that moment that I said new product, what is the value of product ID? What is the value there that product ID has? When I say create new product and I give new product, what is the value of product ID? Sanchit, I did not save it yet. I just created in memory here. This new product is just in memory product. So, does it know about the last product already? It does not know. I mean, let's have a look at the model. See, it just has a product ID. So, at the point that I say new product, it's a new product just in memory. It's not in the database yet. So I'm going to ask again, what is the value of product ID when I call new product? Yes, default value. Yes, John, both of you are right. It's 0 because the default value of an integer is 0. Okay, so look, product ID is integer. Default value of an integer is 0. Why is that? Why am I mentioning that? Why is that important? Because look, when I click add new product, add product, if I go to the source, look here, we have the hidden product ID, which is equals to 0. Why is that important? Because when I'm gonna save this, in the controller, I'm gonna save right here, save product. I'm gonna give it a product. Product in this case, because it's a new one, product ID is 0. When it goes to the Entity Framework product repository and I try to save a product that has product ID equals to 0, it's gonna add to the collection, not update. Okay? So I just wanted to highlight this. It is very important that you have this hidden fields for the ID of the product here. You're gonna need the same thing for your recipe, okay? Recipe ID, you're gonna need a recipe ID. You're gonna need to put a hidden recipe ID fields for your recipes as well for your assignment number 3, okay? Because then your code will knows if you are adding a new product, a new recipe, or if you are changing, updating an existing recipe, okay? Just wanted to highlight this. Last point here on video 12, it was about creating the product, the new product. So we are just doing that. Call edit and call new product. When we do that, we get a blank form with a product ID hidden field equals to 0 that flags that we want to add a new product. And in this case, we get validation here for all the different fields. Okay? Any questions? Okay, so last step to wrap things up is our part 13, how to delete the products. Okay, so if I come back here, if I click delete, look, we have an error because there's no action yet created called delete. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna create that action. So let's go to our admin controller, and here we're gonna create our delete action. So let's say public. Whenever we need to use a post and delete as a post, let's use this by default. Let's use it in iAction result, because iAction result, you can return a redirect or you can return a view result, okay? So you can return both of them. So as a standard from now on, every time we do an HTTP post, we're gonna be using an iAction result instead of a view result, okay? And then we're gonna say that this is delete. This is our delete action. What is the parameter that goes in the delete action? Let's have a look at our list. Which parameter goes to the delete action? What is the name of the parameter that goes there? Based on what you see here in the form, in the delete form, what is the name of the parameter that goes to the delete action? That is product ID. Yes. Okay. So product ID. So we have an integer, product ID. The capitalization doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be an exact match. Now, look at this. We have to call delete from where? Where should be our delete method? Which class we should implement that? In the repository, the same way as we have a save product, we're gonna have a delete product as well, okay? Now, look at this. I only have the product ID here, but I want to display a friendly message to the user that says, kayak has been deleted. Tennis racket has been deleted. Boat has been deleted. But here I only have the ID of the product. I don't have the name of the product. So what I'm going to do is, in our delete product method, we're going to have to create this method. I'm going to give to it the product ID. This method will, will select the first and delete. We're going to do that inside this method, okay? So it's not only going to select the correct product to get deleted, but I want the name of that product. I want the product returned back to the controller so I can catch the name of the product, because I'm going to use it next. If I didn't want the product name, this method could be void. I wouldn't have to use any return value, any return type. But because I want details about the product that has been deleted, I'm going to return this as a new product, as a product object. Okay, so I'm going to say product deleted product. I'm just declaring a local variable that's going to receive the return of delete product. And again, delete product will do two things: delete the products and return the product object to the controller so that the controller can get the name of the product. Okay? Delete method will return the product in Sanchit. It will return the product even though it's deleted already from the database. But it's just going to return that because I want the name of the product. Okay? Okay, so let's leave it like that. Now, delete products, I'm going to have to put its signature in the iProduct repository first. So I'm going to say product, delete product. It's going to receive an integer called product ID. But again, this is just the interface. We are just writing here the abstract method. Okay? That's just the abstract method. Now, where is going to be the implementation of this method? Which class will have the implementation of this method? In one, the Entity Framework product repository. Okay? So I'm going to just copy this here. The Entity Framework product repository. I'm going to open that. And I'm going to do something similar to what was done here in the save product. I'm going to say public, not void, because we are returning a product here. Delete product, int product ID. And we're going to implement this. Now, as Sanchit said before, the first thing that we have to do is we have to select the right product. Product. Yeah, I have a misspelling there. Product ID. Okay, so we're gonna use something similar to what was used here in the edit to be able to get the first or the product that has that matching ID. Okay, so we have the ID here. We are querying the collection of products. We are getting the first or default value object p such that p.productID is equals to the product ID that is coming from the parameter here. with this product now, I'm gonna do the same test that I did here. It's just a guarantee that the product is really exists. And I'm gonna say if product exists, remove it. Remove it from where? Well, we're gonna use the context. Context.products, but not add. You're gonna say dot remove, and you're gonna give to it the product entry. So we test if the product exists, we remove it from the collection. Now, what do you think we should do next after we remove it? Remove it is just in memory. What do you think that we should do next to be able to make this save in the database? Philip, yes, Philip, we have to save the changes. The same thing that we did here when we updated the product or created, we have to save the changes. Remove only removes from the memory, not from the database yet. When we call save changes, we flush this to the database. And then at the very end, I'm gonna say return. Return what? What is it that I'm gonna return here? Based on the code here, what am I gonna return? The guy here, the entry, product entry. With that, admin controller will have access to the deleted products. And in the admin controller, what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna say, just to make sure if deleted product is different from null, then remember we are using temp data to be able to send information from the controller to an action that's gonna be using a redirect. Okay, so I'm gonna say temp data message. This will be equals to what? Let's put the message there. Let's use string interpolation. I'm gonna say deleted product dot name was deleted. Okay, so I'm calling delete here. I'm deleting the product here. I'm getting the deleted products. I'm showing the message in the temp message. Temp message is displayed if you have a look at the admin layout. Look at the very top of the admin layout. We are testing if temp data message is different from null, then show a message there. That's what we are showing there. Okay. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna redirect to the index. We're gonna stay in the index view. So we're gonna say return redirect to action, and we are redirecting, we are staying in the index view. Okay, so with this, oops, I have a little mistake here. With this, we should be able to now delete our products. Let's give this a try. Okay, so let's go to the backend. Okay, let's add a new product here. Let's call it test. Save this. Look at the crazy ID. As I mentioned before, don't worry about the ID, okay? This is a bug that I see happening with this local database. This is just a test database. This type of database will never go in production. So it's a bit buggy, as you can see there, but don't worry about this, okay? Anyway, we've added the test product. I'm gonna delete look at the message there. Test was deleted. That's what we did with the temp data message. Okay? The message came from this. Okay. With that, we wrap things up for chapter 11. I'm gonna go here on Centennial. I'm gonna make this available there. The code available. So you can download this entire code by, actually let me show them. Okay, so it's all available. And when we start chapter 12, you can start with the end of chapter 11. I see a point there. What if the same happens when you are testing our assignment or exams? Or the same what? The same delete? Bug? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about that. If you see that thing about ID, don't worry. Don't worry about that. Just leave it like that. That's fine. It's not a, I know it's not your problem. It's a bug within the local DB engine, okay? It's not your fault, okay? I know that. Great. Let's do this. We need to move forward. If you have any questions, let me know. But let's take 5 minutes. Regain your thoughts there. Let's take 5 minutes before we start the next topic, which is about security. 5 minutes break, just to refill some water. I know it's a little bit late, but just to give a break between this topic and the next one, let's have 5 minutes. We'll be back in 5. Okay, everyone. Can you please confirm that you can hear me? Okay, great. Okay, so I got back to the person who asked the question on Slack. There is also a long question here. Okay, just keep in mind one thing. If you send me a long question while I'm, teaching the class, and it's a private question, I mean, if you need private time with me, but let me read the question. The question says something like this. I'm getting an error while creating database for assignment 3, a network or instance related error. Okay, usually this happens when the database is not found. What I will recommend is this. And can you please confirm that you are listening to me, because I just want to make sure that the person who asked the question is okay. So what you should, if you get a message like SQL Server was not found or was not accessible, what you should do is you should check. You should go to View, SQL Server Object Explorer, expand SQL Server, and look at the options that you have there. Look at the name. Because maybe your name, see, the name that I have here, I have LocalDB, MySQL LocalDB. If I right click and go to properties, look, I can see the connection string here. Look, I can use the data source as a connection string here. However, you may have a different one. You may have only the second one, which is slightly different, you see? Or the third one. So check that and check what is the correct name in your case. Most cases, MS LocalDB is fine. So check for that. There's something going on with the location of your database, the connection string, there's something going on there. If you still get stuck, again, we can always talk. You can send me the code, but it's something about that. Anyway, let's move forward here. No problem. My pleasure. Okay, Sanchit, can you just list all the concepts in a page that we did and the ones we will be doing? Can you list all concepts? Sanchit, you have the PowerPoints, you have the videos, the recordings. As a student, as we go through a class, you should also make some notes there as you go along, okay? So you have the PowerPoints, you have the videos, you have a lot of stuff. So there must be something that you do as a student. And one of the roles of a student is to take notes, okay? So yes, that's what I would hope that you guys do as well, okay? As we go through, write down some notes, review the videos, review the PowerPoints, study a little bit, okay? Sorry, I'm not trying to pick on you, Sanchit. I know, I get it. There are lots of little details here, lots of things that we do it. But again, we have a lot of resources too. We have the book. I go through the chapters. I go through the PowerPoints. I go through the video. No, so again. Okay, great. So let's keep moving forwards. And let's see here. I got Google. That's true. So great. So let me close this. And I'm gonna close this one as well. We stop debugging. And let's see here. Okay, so the next topic that we're gonna be talking about in our next half an hour is this one. So our week number 9 is really focused on security. Well, so far we run our application, and now we were able to create a CRUD. A CRUD to be able to create, read, update, and delete entries. In our case, in our sports store case, we're talking about products. However, you saw that I just had to type /admin/index to be able to see all products. I did that, okay? But in a normal system, in a live system, users will not be able to go. Can you imagine going to the back end of Amazon and messing around with their products? We have to have protection. We have to have a password. We have to have a security system in place not to allow that, not to allow for those flaws. So today and tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how we can close our system and protect our system. How we can protect controllers. How we can protect actions. Okay? So, week 9, the theme is security. We're going to be looking at how we can protect actions and controllers. Today, we will only be able, I think, to touch on actions. But between today and tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow, you're going to be looking at a system that you can actually log in to the backend. This content is available on Chapter 12. Chapter 12 is about security. So it's available right there. There's also a set of videos, as usual, playlist, video playlist. Chapter 12 is the last chapter that will talk about sports store. Okay, so we are closing the sports store example system e-commerce with chapter 12. Okay? I just had a quick look here. Someone is mentioning that on assignment 2, it was placed font awesome without using libman. The hosted version of font awesome, that's okay, that's fine. But yeah, but third-party libraries usually is good to download and load it from within the system, but that will be okay. Anyway, move forward here. Our old MVC diagram. To do the security, we're gonna also interact with every single aspect of our web application. We have to work with the routing system, the controller, to be able to create a new controller, to be able to log in and log out the user. We're going to use the model to be able to interact with a database. Now we're going to have a second database, a second one, just to do validation. And we're going to need to work with the view to have a login view, a logout view. So all the different components will be working together to provide us the required elements for our security. Prablin has a question there. When we log in a secure website, a lock is displayed along URL. Is that something we'll be touching? Okay, Prablin, that lock there is not only about when you log in. If you go to Centennial right now, you're gonna see a lock there as well. That lock is about SSL, is about HTTPS, okay? This is not the same type of security. That's about, yes, about the SSL certificate, okay? Right now in the course, because we're not putting this live, we are actually unchecking the option to run this as HTTPS. The HTTPS is just to encrypt the channel. It's not about the security that I'm talking about here, okay? It's about security as well, but it's another type of security. That SSL, that HTTPS, that lock you see, it's about encrypting the channel that the communication is happening between the server and the client. Okay, so that's also security, but a different kind of security. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna start with the model here. And by the way, the beginning of this class now is just a quick recap in a way of what you should have seen when you submit bonus number 9. Bonus number 9 asks you to go through videos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of chapter 12. So you could put together the initial database aspects of that chapter, okay? But I'm gonna walk through them briefly here. Before that, let me just show you what is it that we are working towards. I want to show you the final product, let's put it this way, the final system. So I'm gonna open the source code. Okay. Okay, so let me just run this. Now, this is the end of chapter 12. It implies that we have already a database, a second database called, let me delete this one here, called identity. Okay, so now we're gonna have two databases. We have the identity database where we store username, passwords, roles, everything related to security is stored there. And then we have our main database, which is where we store product information. Okay, so if I run this, and if you check the codes, now we have a new controller. Actually, let's go to the model, let's go to the new seed, identity seed data. Well, this is using rows as well. No, I didn't want this. Let's see here. Okay, I've opened the wrong one. Did I open the wrong one? Yes, I did. Let me close this. Let me open the correct one. I'm gonna delete the identity database just so I can show you how to recreate it in case you need. So the identity database can be recreated via, if you go to NuGet Package Manager, Package Manager console, you can run a command here to run the migration scripts of the database for the identity database. Okay, so now we have two contexts. We have the application DB context. This one here is the one for products, for the product information and the orders as well. And we have the app identity DB context. This one here is for the second database that we're going to be using to store user information. Because we have a second database, we have under app settings, we have a second connection string. Let's see there's a question. General question. Do we have client login details and admin login details in the same database? Yes. Yes. In our case here, we're gonna have both of them in the same database. Now, right now, we don't have, not yet at least, we don't have user login. Everyone can see the system, but only one user can log into the back end of the system, okay? Okay, in a larger, bigger system, every user has a password and username, and also the users will have different levels of access. We're gonna talk about roles in 2 weeks. Then you're gonna see that some users will have access to create products. Some users will have access to create products and create and manage orders as well. So you're gonna have users with different levels of access. Some users will only have access to shop, to buy products. Okay, so this is what we are talking about when we mention the word roles. Roles are, I have a teacher, a professor role. You have a student role. So we have different views into Centennial, depending on our role. Today is not about that really yet. It's just about, did you log into the system? Yes or no. If you log in, you have access. If you didn't log in, you don't have access. Okay? So here we have two connection strings. One for the main product database, the other one for the second product database. Sorry, not for the second product database. The other one for the user database that goes together with the same system. Now, if I need to run the migration script for the second one, now I need to do something a little bit different. Anyone remembers what is the name that you write down? What is the command to be able to run the migration scripts and create the database? Anyone remembers that? Okay, add migration script, Diraj. That's for creating the migration scripts. Okay, we're not gonna, the migration script is already created here. We're just gonna run them. Janjit, .NET EF, you do that in the command line. You don't need to do that here in the package manager. Okay, so Diraj, yes, update database. Okay, Janjit, migration initials, again, that is when you create the migration scripts the first time. If the migration script is already created, which is our case here, we're just gonna run update database. Okay? Now, when we run this, look, before we just used to run this, but now, because we have two DB contexts, we have to give the name. We have to say, look, update database dash context And then we have to give the name of the context that we want to run. We want to run this one here, because I already have sports store. I want to have the identity there. So I'm gonna run against this one. So update dash database space dash context space app identity DB context. Make a note of this, write a note, make a quick note about this. Okay, I'm gonna run this now. It's running the script. You can just have a quick look up and see if there is any red messages. There's nothing here. This is the previous one. And if I refresh the database, look, I have the identity database. If I look at the tables, you see we have a bunch of tables here that are all related to security information, like the name of the users, logins, the roles, passwords, everything is here. Everything is here. Okay, now I will be able to run this and see this in action. Again, this is the end of chapter 12. This is the end result. I'm showing you the end result here. Now, if I go to the back end, if I try that, look, I'm prompted with username and password. It's already pre-saved here in my local environment, but this information is available in the seed data as well. There is a seed data for identity. Look here. We have created the admin user and the password is secret123 $. So if I click login, now I can see the action. Okay, so you're gonna see today how you can protect the actions in your application. But before that, again, we just mentioned quickly about a few elements that you're gonna be taking care of. The identity context. This identity context class is very similar to the one that we created before. Remember, we had application DB context for the products, and we have now identity DB context for the users, passwords, roles. But this is a special context because this is given to us by the identity framework. We don't have to create our own user model, our own roles model. Everything is provided to us already by identity framework. So everything that we are doing here is coming from the identity framework that comes with .NET Core, with ASP.NET Core, okay? So again, it's bringing that to us already. We just have to use them. We have to declare a DB context here. Because we have a DB context, we have to set up in the startup, we have to connect our DB context to the new connection string that we have. Look, a lot of students come to me saying, hey, I have a problem with my project. It's not connecting to the database. Most of the time, the problem is just that they have a misspelling in the connection string. So if you get a message that says connection string parameter is null or something like that, check the spelling of your connection string. There's something wrong there most of the time, if this is the message that comes. Okay, so look, we have the previous DB context, the product one, then we have the identity DB context here to be able to connect to the second database, to the identity database. Then we have to add this line to be able to apply identity framework to our application. And we're going to be using the identity user as the class to be able to get the username, the password, email address, all of that via this identity, this add identity. If we don't put this, we won't be able to secure our application properly. So here, first of all, configure services, we have to add those 2 lines of code. Okay? That's what I show. Let's see here. So that's the connection string that I just showed that. Then we have the configure services in the startup. Again, we connect to the database, to the new one, and we add the identity services to the application. Okay? So Sanchit, why do we need to create extra overheads of creating a new database if we can have the same tables in the existing database? Are we using it because framework provided classes for it, like identity user? Okay, so good points. The short answer is, if I were creating this example by myself, I would have added all those tables in one single database, because our example is simple enough to have everything in one single database. However, the book author, he found appropriate to demonstrate that the same application can connect to 2 different databases, and he opted to store in the first database only data related about the system, and in a second database only security information. Now, this is overall a good practice. This is not creating really an overhead, Sanchit, because the data has to be stored somewhere, whether it's in the same database or in a different database. To be honest, it's not creating overhead here. There's no overhead here really. It's reading and writing just to another database. Nothing extra here. Now, if by extra you mean a second database, well, okay, so it becomes a little bit more complex because it's a second database. But the point of the author is that the application can connect to 2 different databases at the same time. And that was really the point here. Could it be done in the same database? Yes, it could. Yes, it could have been done. Okay? Okay, so we set up configure service. Again, we are adding those 2 lines. Make a quick note about this. Add DB context, add identity to the services. 2 lines under configure services, and we need to add use authentication under configure as well. If we don't do this, it's not going to validate. It's not going to work. Okay? Also, we need to be careful that use authentication must come first before use MVC. If you put this afterwards, there must be an order here. If you use authentication after MVC, the MVC routing rules will be applied already. So authentication will come too late in the game. So make sure that you have this in the following order. Use authentication must come first before use MVC. Okay? That's a must. And overall, I would keep this order here as well. I don't know if there's any impact with anything else here, but I know this for sure. This one has to be before. Philippe, using a standardized security system makes it less safe or more safe? A standardized security system? The thing is that a standardized as compared to what? As compared to a non-standard? So in a non-standard, to be quite honest, Philippe, if you are building your own security system, I have to ask you, are you going to be able to build a security system that is more secure than the one that Microsoft builds? Consider that. Ask this question. Are you, I mean, again, I'm not, yes, people can build better, more secure systems, but do you really have the time and resources available to build a security system that is better than the one that Microsoft built for you? My guess is that in general, you won't be. So you are okay and safe enough with the security system provided by them. Now, the security system is highly customizable. You can make your passwords very complex. You can add extra layers of security here. So this is not the example I'm doing here. It might be a simple one, but if you get deeper and deeper into the identity framework provided by Microsoft, you're gonna see that there's way more ways to control and make it safer than just using what we are using here. Okay, so again, it's safe enough and it's a good starting point. To do something more, to do something safer than that, well, it would require a lot of resources and a lot of development. So the point is that if you are using MVC and Microsoft, this is a very safe system. And remember, safety is not only code-wise, but it's several-wise as well. It's environment-wise as well. So there are many layers of security that a whole system needs to be prepared to handle, you know. Okay, I would say so, Philip. Only big, and even big organization, it has to be very big to have the need to do something very different from what Microsoft is providing out of the box, to be quite honest with you, you know. Okay, with that said, no problem. With that said, let's see here. Let's see what else we have. Okay. Okay, so I would like to wrap things up. Again, we just gave a bit of an intro about security here. I'd like to close this, and I would like to show you up to part 6 on chapter 12. You have seen this. This is the source code of that. Part 6. Again, this is part 6 of chapter 12. This is up to where I asked you to have a look and submit as your bonus. I'm gonna run this. It's running. Okay, so if I go to admin index, sorry, actually, let's go to order list. So order list is another backend administration view that should be secure. This view here shows the name of the customer and the product that he or she bought that needs to be shipped. Of course, a view like this should be protected. It should be only available for admin users. So what I want to finish today with is, how can I secure this action? Right now it's open. I did not have to log in. To secure it, very simple. Let's close this. I'm gonna go to the order controller. We're talking about /order/list. Look, we have the list action here. For me to secure this action and say, hey, only logged in user has access to it, I just have to do this, a simple annotation. Authorize. That's about it. Now, authorize requires a namespace. So I'm gonna add the authorization namespace, this one here. So by using the authorize annotation, I'm protecting this action from being used by non-logged in users. See, look, I just did this. If I try to run it again, look what will happen. /order /list. Look, I'm getting a not found. That's okay, because it redirects us to automatically to /account /login. It's looking for an account controller and for a login action. This is what you're gonna be doing tomorrow, okay? So look, I no longer have access to the view. I get redirected to a login place. And we have to put together the account controller, the login action, and that's our next step. But to secure, we just need to use the annotation. It's that simple. It's that easy. Okay? Again, write down notes. Authorize annotation to secure actions. Authorize annotation, secure actions. Okay? Any questions? Any comments? Anything? Yes, Sanchit. Yeah, with the framework that keeps evolving, yeah, Microsoft is making our lives a lot easier, you know, with a lot of things built out of the box for us, you know. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, everyone, have a good rest of your day. We'll talk tomorrow. I need to move forward here to the next class, but tomorrow we're gonna wrap things up about security, and tomorrow as well we're gonna talk about the project. Our last few weeks are rushing things up, so we have a lot of deliverables to handle in the next few weeks. We're gonna talk about them tomorrow. Have a safe rest of the day, a good rest of your day. Tomorrow I'll see you all, okay? If there's anything that you need from me, reach out via email, send me a message on Slack. Whenever you send a message on Slack, put @Ederson at the end, because then I get an email. Make sure that you put that, okay? Safe day, everyone. Have a good one. Bye now. I need to jump quickly because I have another class in 9 minutes and I have to have my lunch. Okay, bye now, everyone.